everybody, and welcome to my May TBR. This TBR is going to be split up into two parts. A pile of shame and a I hope I can get to this after I finish my pile of shame. Guess which pile is bigger? You got it, the good old pile of shame. So I think we'll just start with the pile of shame first. These are books that I wanted to read last month, or maybe the month before, or maybe even the month before that. And for whatever reason, it didn't happen. And so they are now going in my pile of shame. So the first book in the pile of shame is Siege and Storm by Leigh Bardugo. I am actually way more excited to pick this up now because I have started watching the Netflix show of Shadow and Bone, and it has just really inspired me to get my butt in gear and finish the series. This has been on my TBR since at some point last fall, and I just have kept pushing it back, so this is high on the pile of shame. Need to get to this. And I'm loving the TV show, so there's really no reason that I shouldn't get to this. I want to get to this, so hoping to make this an actual priority in May. Next up on the pile of shame is a book that has been on my TBR since December. December, people. December. Okay, so The Invisible Life of Addy LaRue has been on my TBR for, 5 months running now? So, yeah, this is embarrassing at this point. It was Michael and Ip's Patreon buddy read, I don't know, back in, February? February, that was a hard word to say. February. Why is that word so dumb? I did start this, never finished it. It's going on the pile of shame. That wasn't a good idea. Third book on the pile of shame is actually, I don't feel so shameful about this because I did make progress in this throughout April, and that is John Adams by David McCullough. McCullough? I don't know. Why is the English language so weird? How do you say that? I'm loving John Adams so much. I'm loving reading nonfiction. I'm loving a biography, which is just not something I pick up that often. So I am just really enjoying this. But it is taking me forever. Because there is so much information, because it's so dense, and I am a person that I do not want to miss anything. I want to get every little stinking detail out of my nonfiction. And so this is just really slow for me. And then I started picking up other books as well in April. So this is still a work in progress. I do intend to finish this in May. I think I can do it. This was actually for Ramsey's presidential read-along. I did go to the live stream of that and chatted with everybody, and it was really great. And it was cool to hear everybody's insight on that. But I think I have to be real with myself. I'm going to fall behind on this read-along. I'm not going to be able to keep up at the pace that they're going, even though they're not going super fast, but I'm just that slow. So while I do still want to read a biography from each president, I'm not going to be able to keep up with the read-along, unfortunately. But I am going to take note of what books they are reading so that I can pick them up and work through them at my own pace. And then maybe in 10 years later, I'll be like, hey, do you want to talk about Jefferson now? And Ramsey will be like, no, Victoria, you're 10 years too late. Final book on my pile of shame is one that's also a repeat offender for a few months now, and that is Nightmare by Chad Nicholas. I really want to read this. It sounds like a fun horror book. Chad also has a YouTube account if you want to go follow him there. And yeah, I just really want to read this soon. I keep meaning to. I think I'm having a hard time with this one because it's an ebook and I never read ebooks, but I just need to make myself. So this is an ebook. I'm not good at ebooks, but I really want to read this. So, gonna do this. Okay, so if my pile of shame gets conquered somewhat, there are some other read-alongs that I am participating in or want to participate in. And one of those is Krista from Books and Jams is hosting a Mere Christianity read-along, and this is actually my favorite book, I think. At least my favorite nonfiction book. This book has meant a lot to me in my own Faith Walk, and so there are a bunch of booktubers that are doing a read-along of this. I would like to reread it with them. I think I'm long overdue for a reread of this one, and I'm also planning on some other C.S. Lewis stuff. So it's just a good time for me to read more C.S. Lewis, I think. But yes, this is something I've read 2 or 3 times now, and maybe it's time for a 3rd or 4th reread. And it's a book that I will just keep rereading my whole life, and I'm excited that there's going to be another opportunity to do that. So I would like to reread this one. I think I'm going to go the audiobook route, though. That will give me a better chance of actually finishing it. Speaking of C.S. Lewis, I am hosting a read-along right now of the Space Trilogy by C.S. Lewis, and in the month of May, we will be reading the 3rd and final book in that trilogy, and that is That Hideous Strength. I'm absolutely loving this trilogy so far. The second book is breaking my brain a little bit, but it is so fascinating. And we also had a live show on the first book a week or 2 ago, and so that was wonderful, and that will be linked down below if you want to check that out. If you've read along with us and you missed the live stream, I'll link it down below. But I am loving this. I've heard that the 3rd book is going to break my brain even more, so I'm looking forward to that. My brain's already broken, so can't do much more damage to me at this point. And if that wasn't enough C.S. Lewis, I would like to read The Abolition of Man, because Summer from Summer's Moving Bookshelf, who is doing the read-along with us for the Space Trilogy, told us that Abolition of Man is something that is maybe important to read before or during That Hideous Strength, because some of the ideas in Abolition of Man are also in That Hideous Strength. So I'm going to try and do this as well, because it's C.S. Lewis month, apparently. And then the final book that I would really like to get to is a Kate Howe read-along, and that is A Tree Grows in Brooklyn by Betty Smith. I've had this on my shelf for a while. I think it was one of those used bookstore picks, who knows how many years ago. And I think I actually started it one time on ebook and then ended up getting distracted by other things. So I know I've read like the first 3 chapters or so and was enjoying it, but I think this is a coming-of-age novel set in Brooklyn, obviously, and in the 1900s, early 1900s, so I am looking forward to this, and Kate Howe always picks great books for her read-alongs, so I think it's time for me to get to this. And that is it for my May TBR. That is more than I can handle. May is going to be a busy month for me. Work-wise, it always is. And I know I'm joking around with my pile of shame, but I'm not really going to shame myself if I don't read all of these. I know that I'm going to have some extra projects for work. I have a lot going on. The end of the school year is near, but this last month of the school year is always crazy. So I have a lot of professional responsibilities that I have to pay attention to first, and then hopefully these books can squeeze on in there. But those are the things that are kind of on my radar for now, and so yeah, we'll see how much of this I can do. I never finish all my TBRs, basically. If you've been around on my channel, you know this. Let me know if you are planning on reading any of these as well in May, or if you've read any of them and you would like to give me some thoughts on them down below. I would love to know. I hope you had a wonderful April and that you're excited for another month of beautiful spring. It's been very nice weather here, actually, although we have had a lot of gloom. It's been rather gloomy, but I guess April showers bring May flowers is what they say. All my social media links are down below. I have a Discord and an Instagram and a Goodreads. And if you want to subscribe here as well, I would love that if you would consider being one of my subscribers. Have a great rest of your day. Keep reading great books. And until next time, I have a pile of shame to get through. Bye-bye.